Hello, this is Clean Coach Carly. I'm the staff nutritionist for Healthy Habits Living. Today I'm talking about polyenyl phosphatidylcholine. I know that's a mouthful, and so usually it's just abbreviated PPC or PhosChol. I'm going to tell you about the two versions that are available. First of all, my favorite, which is the kids version. Now, this is in kids dosing. So in 1 teaspoon, you're going to get about 1,000 milligrams of phosphatidylcholine. Whereas in the adult version, in 1 teaspoon, you're going to get 3,000 milligrams. So the adult version is 3 times as strong. It's also not very good tasting. I would describe it as something between motor oil and maybe something akin to vomit. So although it's a highly effective product, without flavoring, it's a little too strong for me, and that's why I take the kids formula. Now, again, if you're taking the kids formula, you're going to have to take 3 times the dose. So I actually take 3 tablespoons per day, which gives me about 3,000 milligrams. And in the adult version, I would only have to take 1 tablespoon. So it's a 3-to-1 range there. Now, the reason I like the kids one, again, is because it has flavoring. There's no added sweetener. There's some glycerin and stevia, so you don't have to worry about a sugar spike. And this is great, too, with your kids. You don't have to worry about the sugar spike. Now, the question is, why would you want to take phosphatidylcholine in the first place? Or why would you want to give it to your kids? Phosphatidylcholine is made in your body from choline. So if you're eating a choline-rich diet, you're going to have plenty of phosphatidylcholine. But of course, in our standard American diet, we eat very little choline, and so we are running around with a deficiency. Why do we need phosphatidylcholine? Well, I've told you before that all of our cells have a cell membrane around them. It's like a protection. And I've told you before that that membrane is made of healthy fats. One of them is omega-3 fish oil. And 65% of that fat around in the membrane is actually phosphatidylcholine. So this is a protector of our cells. It also coordinates cell signaling so that our cells can talk to each other and communicate what needs to be done or what doesn't need to be done. And so if you have any sort of injury to the cells, which we always do just by virtue of living, we need a constant supply of phosphatidylcholine for that repair. We also need phosphatidylcholine for new cells because new cells also need cell membranes. Now, where does this play in with kids? Well, we know that children on the autism spectrum have brain cell issues. We also know that they have liver and gut issues. And so we know that phosphatidylcholine in both kids and adults is part of that brain, gut, and liver access so that all of those cells are healthy and communicate with each other. So when we're talking about kids that have any type of autism spectrum disorder symptoms or brain disorders or learning disorders or traumatic head injuries, we're now learning that seem innocuous at first, but that can have long-lasting effects. We need this phosphatidylcholine. And if the diet isn't providing enough, or we already have a deficiency or an injury, then we need even more phosphatidylcholine. So in the case of kids, when their brains are developing, it's much more important that they get those optimal levels of phosphatidylcholine. In the case of adults, when we see long-term head injuries that have kind of taken their course and have created inflammation and loss of adequate cell signaling, then we think about PhosChol for adults. So here's the question. Why would we buy Nutrasal phosphatidylcholine versus another brand? Well, PhosChol is literally the only one on the market that is 100% pharmaceutical grade phosphatidylcholine. So in other words, if you go down to the big box store, Walmart or Whole Foods or wherever you buy your supplements and you buy phosphatidylcholine, it's not even going to say on the back what percentage or what milligram dose of actual phosphatidylcholine you're getting. It might say 1,000 milligrams of lecithin. Well, we know that lecithin is only 10 to 20% phosphatidylcholine. So if you want a 100% phosphatidylcholine supplement, then you're going to want the Nutrasal. It comes in the 2 liquid forms. It also comes in capsules. If you don't have any sort of brain concerns, which, I mean, who doesn't? But if you don't, then you're fine just getting your lecithin granules, sprinkling them on your food, putting them in your smoothie, or buying a lower end or less expensive supplement. But if you're looking for something that is in the clinical doses that have been studied in both clinical settings, doctors, and research settings, then you're going to want that 100% pharmaceutical grade phosphatidylcholine, and that, of course, is Nutrasal. By the way, phosphatidylcholine has been studied for like 60 some years, and it's very popular in Europe. In fact, in some European countries, it is a drug, so you have to get a prescription for it. In Germany alone, there's been over 400 million doses of phosphatidylcholine from Nutrasal that have been dispensed over the past decades. In the United States, Nutrasal has dispensed over 200 million doses of phosphatidylcholine for protecting our cellular health and regeneration and repairing cell membranes. Here's the other thing I love about this company. So like I said, they're the only ones that are 100% pharmaceutical grade. And so compared to any other supplement that you buy, Nutrasal is going to be at least 7 times stronger, if not more. Okay, so we already know they're the best. But besides that, they've been around since the 80s, and they've been quietly doing their thing, participating in research, keeping up with other research that's being done on phospholipids. And they're not cutting their product down with a bunch of cheap fillers, and they're not trying to disguise how much phosphatidylcholine is actually in there, because it's 100%. And they aren't, showing you the lower doses. They're sticking with the doses that are supported in the medical literature and that bring you the results. And with the results and with those high doses, you know that there's going to be a bigger price tag. And you have to be willing to pay that if you want those benefits. And if you're an adult like I am and you don't want to take the adult version and you want to pay for the sweetener and the MCT in the kids version, you're actually even going to have to pay a little bit more. But for people like me who I've had 5 head injuries, and I've had my Amen SPECT scans showing multiple areas of my brain that don't have enough functioning, enough blood flow, and then one area that has too much blood flow. I'm someone who's willing to pay that price because I need that cell signaling. I need that cell membrane stability in my brain so that I can keep and improve on my cognitive abilities. So I love the company. They're highly integritous. They've been making this formula and keeping up on the research for decades. And the research goes beyond what they have participated in and even beyond when they formed their company. So if you're willing to take the adult version and taste the ickies, then go ahead. But I recommend the kids version for both kids and adults. And I've even gotten some reviews that people are giving this version, the kid version, to their pet because it tastes good and their pet is willing to take it. So here at Healthy Habits Living, we are always here to keep you updated on the research and the most important nutrients that you need to solidify your health. We are here to help you get healthy so that you can stay healthy and be healthy.